All right, we're on tape, girl.
Yeah, it's rolling.
Well, good morning. Good morning. I am so excited to talk to you on behalf of Muzilog this morning and to talk about all the exciting things that you are doing and have been doing. Um,
Mm.
I read your bio, and I'm very interested to talk to you about, let's see, naked,
Yeah,
as
that's interesting,
well,
right?
yeah, as well as your single Life is a Game, Miss Beverly Song Burton. Let's start with Beverly Burton School of Music, which is some black girl magic stuff, but let's talk a little bit about that. When did you tell me a little bit about your study to go into that, and
Mhm.
when the school started, and how what's your gauge of how successful it is, and disappointments or successes. So just tell
Mhm.
me about it.
Okay. Well, the journey all started, I promise you, Beverly Burton School of Music has been around since I was about 5 years old. It's crazy because I used to teach my teddy bears, and literally I used to have music lessons with them. So I knew that from a little girl that I always wanted to be a piano teacher. So that was like the weirdest part. Like sometimes people will come to me and they're like, "Oh, we thought you were much older than than you are," because I guess a piano teacher is some retired old lady who is at the sunset of her life just teaching. So that was something that I've always had a passion for. I guess sometimes when you are in communities where people have paved a way to come to this country and to make sure that you have a stable foundation financially and just education wise, some careers just are not going to fly. And being a piano teacher definitely was one of those careers. So I went into biology in college. My first degree, I went to biology, did that. Was supposed to go to medical school, but my passion is music, like hands down. And I know that that is something that God had given to me. So to kind of go against that and to waste time, money, and energy in a field that is very demanding, I was just like, I don't think I could do that. So I came back to New York City and I began teaching in the Board of Education. I taught science and math, which was cool, but I just personally did not have a passion for science and math. Like, I love nature, I love the creator, I love living things, but to teach it, I did not have the passion, and I didn't feel like I could share the way I wanted to, within the structure of a place where you are just teaching towards a test. So for me, that wasn't going to work. So in 2009, that was my last year at the Board of Ed. I probably taught there for like 5, 6 years. And I went to Lehman College and got my music degree and became a full-time piano and vocal teacher. So that's how and when that all started. And I've been growing since then. I'm thankful because I have not worked another job outside of being a piano teacher since then. And I give all props to God and just to destiny and purpose and kind of walking in that despite anything else, because I know that small businesses, like that whole startup statistic and, getting to the 2-year mark and then getting to the 5-year mark, like I've been in business for about 12 years, and I just give God the glory that I've been able to like have my clients reach more people and just continue to expand. So that's Beverly Burton School of Music in a nutshell.
Great. And is it an official facility, or do you run the company out of your home? Do you teach privately? How does it work?
I teach private lessons. So as of yet, it is not Beverly Burton School of Music, the building, but it is definitely the school of thought. It is definitely a community of people who are committed and they are sharing the word. Like I don't really promote hard because I want to do that when I do get my big building, but literally word of mouth. My clients are always referring, and I'm always reaching the place where my schedule is busting at the seams because just God has given me just people to service. So that's where we are right now, but we want to grow.
That sounds very awesome. Very, very awesome. And congratulations on that.
Thank you.
12 years, that's quite an achievement. Now, I want to talk about both of them, but first let's talk about, since it's released already, Life is a Game. Mm-hmm. So when I first saw this, when I first saw the title, I thought, life is a game, this is what we all say, but the message kind of goes in a different direction. So tell us about your message your intended message for Life is a Game.
Okay. So the intended message for Life is a Game really came from a place where one day I was just like feeling like I was living like a random Christian life. Like we get up, we pray, and we hope for the best. And not to say that life is that predictable where every day is just going to be what we want it to be. But even in the randomness of life, there is still what I would consider rules. Just like a game has rules and you move, you pick up the card and it says move 2 spaces, miss a turn. Like I feel like God and Christianity is kind of like that. Like we forget that he is the author and finisher of us. So what better way to run our lives than based on how the manufacturer or the person who created us wants it to be? And I began to live my life like that. Like, okay, Beverly, there are times when people will come at you or say things, and in your heart you want to just clap back because that's the Bronx girl in me. So, but you know what? The word says, a soft answer turns away wrath. So how about you begin to just pick up that card and you do what it says, and and turn the other cheek. And not that we just let people walk all over us, but we begin to hold people accountable. And if they are willing to say, you know what, yeah, man, my bad, then we kind of work with or leave it in God's hands, or we walk by faith and not by sight. So I began to try to just shift my paradigm, shift the way I was thinking about me doing things in order to get a certain result, and just saying, let me operate based on what the manufacturer says, based on what God says is going to bring me the greatest success. And I was just seeing my life change, and I was just like, anytime I see something happening for me, I like to put it in a song, So that was the real intent, that if we follow God's rules for the game of life, that we will definitely win in the end. And winning doesn't always mean that it's going to be the way that we want, but we know that the word says that all things work together for the good. So everything will begin to work for the good when we begin to operate under God's game, so.
Okay. Well, that's a beautiful concept. I love how you, incorporated the life as a game scenario, because like I said, you think about the title, you really have to listen to the lyrics to really get an understanding for where you're going with that. So that's absolutely beautiful. So we'll talk about now your mini project, Naked. Let's talk about that. Where did you come from, the concept? I kind of understood what naked is about. When a woman speaks about naked, it's not really, revealing her body. It's usually taking off something and becoming very vulnerable. So tell me about the Naked, the mini project.
Okay. Naked, the mini project was for my birthday last year. And, I've always wanted to do a project. I've always wanted to record music. I really enjoy doing that. I feel like that's where I'm my happiest, when I'm in the studio just creating and stuff like that. So I really haven't done it because I feel like as people in this musical culture, if number one, you're not mentored into it, you kind of really are just going with the flow and trying to figure it out as you go along. And for me personally, I wasn't mentored into it. Like, I don't think that my ministry is that kind that's just obviously like, oh, I want to help you. Maybe it's just my personality where I am a go-getter. I am a strong person, and people might just be like, oh, she got this. And, I might not know always how to ask for help to say, I need help with this. I need help with this. It's kind of like that balance where we're assuming that people should help us, but we don't know how to ask for help either on the other end. So I feel like I've gone through this musical thing, just trying to figure it out blindly, whatever. And never had a mentor. And what happened was that because I feel like my music is just a little bit different, like I feel like I come from a different direction with the lyrics, kind of like look at the titles of my songs. You know what I'm saying? Come differently, that people don't necessarily know where to put me. Like I'm not your average gospel singer, so 11 o'clock hour at a church may not necessarily work for all my music. So it's just, I feel like my music has this weird place setting, which I have grown to love, but I didn't know where I belonged. So when it came to recording, I didn't know who my audience was. I didn't know anything. So I would always be like, okay, I like my music, but I was very shy about putting it out there because nobody was like, oh my God, Beverly, I want to support you. I want to, like, it wasn't like that. It was more like, they would come to me like, okay, well, if we change up your music and we did this, then, I'm just like, but this is what it is right here. How can we allow it to have its own lane without fitting into everybody else's lane and being what everybody else is out there already? So it was like a little struggle between me trying to maintain my individuality as an artist and as just a ministry that God had placed on me and still fitting in. But nevertheless, I really believe that God always takes us through a journey to make us better people. Like he's not really worried about the music as much as he is about the artist. And he wants us just to be solid, So all these years, people are like, that I would sing and people are like, do you have music to that? And I'm just like, no, not yet. It's coming. And it's coming could turn into like years of it's coming. So it was always coming. So last year on my birthday, I was like, okay, Beverly, we gonna be about it. Like I had been through some certain situations with God where I remember one day I was just like, yo, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I don't want to do this. People are not supporting me the way that I would like them to. I feel like in my own way, and I'll put it that way because communication is a very tricky thing, right? So in my own way, I felt like I was trying to ask for help and trying to reach out, but I wasn't getting the support that I needed or I felt like I wanted. And I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I can't, I won't. And I remember God having a conversation with me through the word, and he took me to Ecclesiastes. And he said, there's a time and a place for everything. Ecclesiastes 3, and God makes everything beautiful in its time. So it's not in God's time or in the standards of everything, but it's in the thing's time. So Beverly, even though you are far, like you've been through this for a long time and you're not where you want to be, in your time, God is going to make it beautiful. And I remember saying, but God, I don't want to sing my music anymore. Like there's too much of a message in it. Like people just want to just have a good time, dance around, people, that's what they want. Like they don't want the depth, like the depth, like Rev Bev, Preacher Bev. And I'm just like, no, I'm not, that's not what I am. And God is like, well, maybe that is what you are. And it's quite okay. Like I've given you a message and that's your time. That's your thing. That's your seed. That's your. And I remember just sitting on the piano one day and I was working on a song called I Will Be Your Only. And I remember literally hearing the thought in my head, if people unwrapped your song, would they find nothing inside? And it was like so clear as day that I was just like, whoa, I got you, God. And I think from that point on, when I had that thought from the Lord, that it was just like, okay, stop denying, stop running, stop being a Jonah for your music and receive it. If your music has a message and a word, that's what it is. And it's okay. And you just have to connect with people who see that. Stop trying to connect with people who are on a totally different page. You know, like that's more of the problem. So once that happened, for my birthday, I was like, you know what? Beverly, you're waiting for too much. You're waiting for the right people to see you. You're waiting for the right musicians to believe in your music. You're waiting for, you know, people to stop talking about you and saying, oh, she's bougie, she's this, you know, because you're choosing just to stick with the music that you want to. Like, you don't have to conform. It's okay. Or the standards or the vision that you have for your music. Like, it's okay. Go into the studio, strip it down because you play the piano. Stop waiting for the saucier pianist to come along. Play the thing, sing the thing, write the thing. And it's going to be for your birthday only. Like, it wasn't meant to be anything else but just a passion project for myself. So once I did that, once I did that, I started to let my friends hear it. And they're just like, oh, my gosh, can you come sing this at my church? And I'm just like, wow. And then make sure you make some copies of it so you can sell it after and share your music. So that's when me and God was just like, okay, you told me to do this, and I did it for me just to make sure that I accomplished my goal. Because sometimes we get into a place where we have an idea, we come to it, but we never bring it to fruition. So we become, you know, producers, but we never actually bring the idea to fruition. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's about our word, but it's never about our action, you know? So God was like, well, this is when you become a woman of action. You know, like, you chat too much. Like, you talk about the ideas and what you want to do, but your action is kind of weak right now. So I did it. Okay. And within that whole cycle of just getting naked, it was called Naked because it's just voice and piano. But it was also called Naked because it was just a time where I began to, like, really strip away my insecurities and strip away the things that I was just, like, worried about. Like, well, God, what if that person doesn't support me? Strip that, because that should not be a reason why you do what I asked you to do. Or, God, I'm feeling like, you know, I had a vocal injury in 2009 and I can't let it go. And God is like, well, strip that, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. So moving on, next. And he just began to, like, strip so many bad thought processes that I had, and began to, like, replace them with I can do all things through Christ. And I am the head and not the tail. And, you know, I am called. and, you know, just all these other thoughts that from that point of Naked, then Life is a Game came to be. And I actually have another single that's dropping real soon called Fill Me Up. So it was a process, that whole Naked, you know, thing, of God just saying, I want your message and your music to be as authentic, but you can't tell somebody else until you've experienced it and you know what it means to be set free. Now you go and you tell other people, because now you know, so.
Wow. That is a tremendous testimony. Being a singer-songwriter myself, I appreciate the quote, if people opened your song, would they find nothing inside? That is some prolific stuff right there. That is absolutely. Did I quote that right?
Yeah, you did. Yes, absolutely, you did.
Wow. And listen, that is what it's all about. You know, I find that I find your spirit to be very refreshing. And I am so very proud of you as a woman to step forward in your efforts and your endeavors. So, and congratulations on that. So,
Thank you.
let's. You're welcome. Let's talk about. I see on your bio that you're releasing 2 singles in the spring, which one was "Life Is a Game" that's out, and "Fill Me Up." So, and you're currently in the studio, working on "Changed."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, tell me about this project, "Fill Me Up," and your album "Changed."
Okay. So Fill Me Up was a song that I wrote a long time ago about the woman at the well. And that song is just, I call it my soul song because it just talks about we're asking God to fill us up. He knows everything that we need, fill our empty cups, basically. So, like just like the story of the woman at the well, I definitely could identify with her because we go through life and we're just looking for things to fill us up. And when we really, truly have an experience with God, our life really changes completely. Like we can do all the self-help that we want. And I think that's very necessary. Like reading books, really getting to the bottom of some of these family history that we have and just why we operate from the perspective that we do is really important. But we'll always have limitations and we will always continue to fill ourself with, I think I heard someone say it, with the resource instead of going to the source. So we're always chasing resources, but we never go to the very source that could supply everything and then read us for who we really are. Because I'm like, I was thinking I was doing okay until God was like, wait, let's go down your list here. You need to fix that and that and that because you're comparing yourself to the resources, but you haven't yet started to compare yourself to me. So I think that getting into a place where we could really look at God as our standard to be like, you know what, I don't want to just be okay because I'm better than 75% of the world. I'm not clubbing every night. I'm not, it's just like, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, we compare ourselves to God. So we fall short not because we're doing better than 75% of the world, but we fall short because we fail to meet God's standards. We fail to turn the other cheek. We fail to give someone a word of encouragement and give them a smile. So even though the world doesn't have our resume, which looks pretty horrible, and they don't know what we doing, after midnight, so to speak, but God knows what he has required. And when we fall short of it, we have to go to him and say, God, fill me up. I need you to fill me up. Nobody else but you. Because then you know everything that I need, So that's what that song is really about. So that's my soul song. It's definitely a worship song. Yeah. A little cross.
And that one, is that one out yet, or
no? It will be out by the weekend. It's coming out by the weekend.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, I know, girl. It's just, absolutely. And people are just like, well, you're not, and I'm just like, you know what? I feel like I'm just following what God asked me to do because I don't think that it's about God growing us as a person, as a business person, as well as people. And he knows that if it was up to me, all my songs would be sitting right on my computer. He's just like, we're working on you just releasing right now. Don't worry about where it goes because even just running into having a conversation with Sam, he's sending people to just be like, okay, this is the structure that I need you to begin to build as an artist, but there are just some things that you need to work on because you slick. You'll do it. You'll do what I ask you to do, but you're not going to release it. And we're not having that anymore. So it's coming out. But for Change, we going to put out the bells and whistles for Change. But Yeah, so Fill Me Up is definitely something that I'm just looking forward to sharing at the
And
moment.
when you say bells and whistles, you mean it's going to be a concert, it's going to be artist
Yeah,
marketing,
girl.
it's going to be
Oh,
big and beautiful and
exactly.
all of that, and
Because I'm a
I got
church
to get my
artist, you know?
invitation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
honey.
yeah.
Sometimes we forget that we are church artists first. So the way
Mhm.
that we deal with music, unless we are educated, we don't know what to do. So unless a label takes us under their wing and does it for us, as a person
Mhm.
who is coming up independently,
Mhm.
it's just like, what? Like, can somebody just give me some education on this thing? And once you tell me what to do, then I can do it. So definitely you hit the nail on the head with that one. Bells and whistles.
Okay.
My main focus is teaching. So
Ah, okay.
that's what my main focus is, teaching. I'm a voice teacher. I am a piano teacher, and I've really started to kind of just like run with that because I had a vocal injury in 2009.
Mm.
I really have a passion for singers. And
Okay.
I'm actually starting a certification for speech pathology, hopefully entering a master's, if that's God's will for my life, this
Mhm.
summer. So I love to reach people. I love to help people. That's just a part of it. So as much as I love to sing, I just kind of wait on God in those areas where it's just like, okay, God, I don't want to just run around like from here to there, running, ripping, running. Like I need you to guide my steps. So where you need me to be, that's where I want to be. So if you say that, Beverly, you have a tour for 2019-20, then that is definitely what I want to do. But what I don't want to do is just be reaching in the wind trying to find something, by just singing all over the place for no reason versus reaching the people and having those God moments that God really wants me to have. So I'm working with other artists and with other singers and pianists and
Mhm.
just really seeking God in prayer in this season, just to say, God, where do you need me and where do you want me to be? So performing is not really my. It is something I
Priority
love,
right
and it's
now.
what I. Right, it's a priority
Mhm.
if God wants it to be a priority. But I really just want to be in the will of God with my music, and just where I can be the most effective and where He wants me. Um, and I see Him making that happen. But right now, I'm just focused on teaching and recording and just being in the season of readiness that when I do get those calls to say, Beverly, sing here, we need you here. Lord, is this what you want? Yes, I'm there, and being able to move like that.
Okay. Well, beautiful. So tell us where we can find all of your information, websites, anywhere else that we can find information about Beverly Song Burton.
Yes, on Facebook, on Beverly Song Burton, on Instagram, Journey with Beverly Song, and on my website, journeywithbeverlysongburton.com.
Excellent. Well, I can tell you it's been quite a pleasure
Aww.
speaking with you, and I'm so very excited about your endeavors. I can't wait to hear your new project, Fill Me Up, as well as check out your project Changed. And I look forward to, I hope that I'm available so that I can come and check out the concert because I know you're going to blow it out of the water.
Oh, praise God. Look at God. Thank you.
So in conclusion of this interview, I'd like to thank you so much for speaking with me, and I'd like to offer you all of the encouragement and God's love in your walk and all of your endeavors, and I hope that we can speak again.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Nadira. You're the best. And I
All
think
right.
just coming from another sister who is just doing her thing as well, I'm really encouraged by this interview. So thank you.
Well, thank you. All right. Take care.
All right. Take care. Thanks.